Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Estate with Brenda Rivera. I'm a real estate agent with Signature Realty, and today is all about why hire an attorney. So I would love to welcome our real estate attorney, Brian Ruiz. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you, Brenda.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Truly appreciate it. So I'm glad that you're here because I truly believe that buyers, first-time home buyers who are looking to purchase a home, I would like for you to talk about why is it important to hire an attorney?
Okay, it's a very good question. Question I've been asked a lot. I think it's very important to hire an attorney for either side of the real estate transaction, particularly for buyers. Your home is typically your largest asset. It's the most expensive investment you'll make in your life. And there's different phases of the transaction from start to finish that the attorney will be able to be by your side and help you with the whole time. I think it will start with once you enter an offer with your agent to purchase a home. That agent will then send the attorney the contract. The first thing the attorney would do is then reach out to the client, speak to the client about the transaction, about the contract, and then begin what's called the attorney review process. It's important to note that when you sign that initial offer of what looks like a contract and may turn into a contract, is that you don't have a binding contract until one of two things happens. First thing is if 3 days time lapses and nobody has an attorney and send out an attorney review letter, now the parties are stuck with the language of that pre-printed standard New Jersey Realtors contract. You typically don't want that. There's language in there you want removed, there's language you want added, and there's some language you want tweaked. Particularly as a buyer. Once an attorney sends out their attorney review letter, that freezes that 3-day time period. And until both sides come to terms on the proposed revisions or modifications of the contract, which are specific to every transaction, then you'll have an actual binding contract. So the point is, once you sign that initial paper saying I offer to pay this much for your home, you don't actually have a binding contract until it comes out of attorney review.
Now, would you suggest for a buyer to start looking for an attorney while they're, actually thinking about going into purchasing a home? Because I truly believe that timing is everything. I want us to be effective with our time because it is a large investment. Yeah. And I truly believe in when it comes to having the right people in place, now we're ready to go forward. Would you suggest for a buyer to find the right attorney, actually sit down with a few attorneys to make sure that, these are the ones, this is the company, this is the attorney that I would like to move forward with beforehand?
Sure, 100%. And I think what's important is when an agent has built a relationship with an attorney or several attorneys, they would recommend at the right time that their client consult with an attorney, typically, right after they sign the offer. So what typically happens is I'll get a phone call from an agent that says, hey, I have this deal coming up and they're really nice people. I want you to talk to them ahead of time. I've given the names of 2 or 3 different attorneys, so they may call you. And you never know if you're going to get the phone call or not, but at least you're ready for it then.
That's right.
So when you get the phone call, you already know the people's names. You know if there's anything particular to that transaction that they're nervous about or curious about. So you're ready to answer those questions. And it's just a way of getting that ball rolling because, as you said, timing is everything. Real estate is truly tied into timing. And if you are not ready to pull the trigger on it, you could lose the home very quickly to another buyer, which is why it's very important for the attorney to get brought up to speed and speak to the clients as quickly as possible so they can open attorney review, get the letters out, and get the attorney review concluded as quickly as possible. Because while that is all going on, until attorney review is concluded, someone else can come in, make a different offer, and that seller can entertain other offers up until the time attorney review is concluded. So that's why it's very important to be ready to move forward with an attorney. And like anything else, any other professional you would hire, it's usually based on recommendations from agents or people you know. Or and to make sure that that attorney is a real estate attorney and knows they're doing that, you know. So
So now, since the contract was sent to you, you know, everything is, now we're at an attorney review. Now, what are the next steps? What actually happens behind the scenes?
Okay, so there's about 3 phases I would say your attorney's involved in during the transaction. Right in the beginning for the attorney review, after that during the transaction, and then at the closing, and then even a little bit after closing. So once attorney review is concluded, the parties move forward. Typically the next thing is you want to start working with your lender to make sure, if it's a mortgage deal, make sure you get everything that they need. We can help along the way with that. We want to connect your lender with our title company. Your lender is going to require that you carry title insurance on the home, and we help facilitate that. But one of the most important things we do next after attorney review is inspections. So your agent will help you schedule inspections, your home inspections. And there's a series of different inspections that you have a right to. Your attorney will bolster your right to inspections as much as possible in the attorney review letter to make sure you get the broadest spectrum of inspections and what you can ask for in terms of repairs. And so once the home inspection report comes back, the attorney can sit down with you, with the client, with the agent, everyone together, and try to determine what the buyer's biggest concerns are after reviewing the inspection report. We put together a repair request list and send that over to the other attorney. And a lot of times it takes some communications back and forth via writings and emails, and a lot of phone calls back and forth with the other attorney until you iron out all the issues and make sure both parties are comfortable moving forward. Always want to make sure that your client is comfortable moving forward. You never want to push them into anything. So you want to make sure that they understand their rights, you know, what they can, what they should ask for. And once they're comfortable, you can conclude the inspections contingency once an agreement is in place on what the seller's going to do to address any of the issues the buyer may have with the property.
And communication, as you stated, is highly important. And as an agent, I monitor everything, and we've worked in the past before too.
I can attest to that you definitely monitor everything.
So, you know, when it comes to myself being a real estate agent, I monitor everything. The emails, I make sure my conversations with the client and also the attorneys and whatever professionals that are involved in the transaction, we're all on the same page. Because that's highly important. So we make sure, because we're working as a team. So we're making sure that the clients agree with, you know, based on the repairs. Okay, this is your request. Okay, let's put this in writing, which you take care of, and we'll send it over to the other side. We make sure that, you know, the clients are satisfied. They're okay. Okay, now let's wait and see what the seller's attorneys say. So after all that is done, now where do we go next when it's close to closing?
All right, so after we're done with the inspections, say you have a standard traditional mortgage deal. The buyer moves forward with the lender. I always tell my clients, make sure you give the lender everything they ask for. They may ask for the same thing 5 times. Just make sure you get it to them 5 times. My job as the attorney is to make sure that I connect the lender with our title agency. And our title agency will pull the title on your home, make sure you're not inheriting anybody else's liens, mortgages, that type of thing.
Which is so important.
It's very important. And they'll work with the lender to make sure that they pull a nice clean title on the house, and that the lender has the title package the way they need it to approve your loan. Another thing we may do at that time is run what's called an OPRA search, which stands for Open Public Records Act, where we contact the town to make sure that there's no open permits on the home, and if there are, that the seller is responsible for closing those permits before we get to closing, so you're not, again, inheriting that seller's problem.
Yeah.
You want to make sure all those permits are closed and you're buying a nice clean house. We also want to make sure that the seller is getting what's referred to as the certificate of occupancy. All towns in New Jersey require a smoke and fire certification to make sure that the house is safe and up to code, fire alarm and extinguisher and carbon monoxide wise. But many towns also require a certificate of occupancy. We make sure that the seller has done those applications, has had the township come out, make sure that the home is safe for the next person coming in. And then we move forward to closing. Once you get your mortgage commitment, we make sure the seller knows right away that our buyer has gotten their mortgage commitment, and that we start scheduling that closing to a time that's conducive for everybody. Then once we get to closing, we work along with the closer from the title company who will come out. The closing from the title company, they're considered the settlement agent. They will go through the lender's package. There's some legal stuff inside that package that you should have an attorney make sure you understand. And just some things that even are not in there that you should understand, just, you know, by way of experience and things like that. Once we do close, everybody's happy. We hand over keys.
The keys.
And that's
I don't
the
have
best
keys
part.
on me now, but
Yeah, the keys. Everybody smiles. We take some pictures.
yes,
and,
absolutely.
And then even after closing, it's important you have an attorney, because this way, if you have any questions, you know, we're always there, and you can reach out to us at any time. You can always reach out to your agent too. But I get calls sometimes a year later just asking, you know, where should I keep my deed? Should I keep my deed with my title policy? All different types of questions. So, you know, different things with taxes that come up, you know, in the years after you close. So I think that's an important part about retaining an attorney as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much. I truly believe that everything that you shared was, you know, very important. So for those of you who are looking to purchase a home, you have heard the reasons why it is important to hire an attorney. And so it does, we just want to make sure that you are well taken care of as far as legal documents, the verbiage that takes place in the contract. So Brian, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching Real Estate with Brenda Rivera, and stay tuned for the next show that will be coming next week.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.